Ahoy there, I'm Captain Chris. I'm not a real captain, but in this video I'm going to tell you 5 things we loved about our recent cruise on this ship, the Marella Discovery 2, and 1 thing I didn't love quite so much. So we really enjoyed our cruise on this ship, and something that was very different compared to other cruise ships we've been on is the much smaller size of the ship. The Marella Discovery 2 and her sister ship, the Marella Discovery, are big cruise ships, but by no means the largest. With 11 decks, 9 restaurants, 7 bars and 2 swimming pools, they carry up to 1,836 passengers. We've recently sailed on Princess Cruises' Sky Princess and Virgin Voyages' Resilient Lady, and they carry twice as many passengers. And the MSC Virtuosa and P&O's Avia and Iona hold 3 times as many. But we really enjoyed being on a smaller ship because it all felt a bit more relaxed, and we could always find a seat in the theatre or the bars and lounges, whereas that's been a problem for us on bigger ships. It was the same in the buffet and restaurants, where we had no problem just walking in and finding seats available, even when we requested a table to ourselves. Whereas on larger ships like the MSC Virtuosa, we were allocated a particular table at a particular time, and if you wanted to vary from that, perhaps if you wanted to see a particular show, it felt almost impossible. There were some delays if you arrived at the restaurants at their peak hour between 6:30 and 7:30 in the evenings, but even then it wasn't too bad, and you could wait or take a pager until a table became available. Generally, the whole experience was good, with little or no queuing, not just in the restaurants but in the theatre, and the other entertainment venues and lounges always seem to have a seat available somewhere. Most cruise lines have entertainment and activities for children with kids clubs and so on. If you're travelling with children, Marella's M Club caters for children aged 3 to 11 and is included in your fare, and there's the Hideout for kids aged 12 to 17, and the Gamer Zone is a room full of Xboxes, which is a great way to entertain those kids for a few hours. If you've got teenagers, you'll know how long they can spend gaming, and teenagers aren't usually interested in the daytime activities on board, so this could be just what they want. Again, larger ships will have more to do, but quite often the arcades and bowling alleys and other facilities on those other ships come at an additional cost, and your kids can burn through quite a bit of cash if you're not careful. So Marella's free kids entertainment is good for them and good for your wallet. If you're travelling without children though, you may be interested to know that children aren't allowed in the glass house on deck 9 during the afternoon, so this is a great place to go if you want to get away from other people's kids. Another thing that we thought was great about our Marella cruise was that there was plenty of choice of places to eat that were included in your fare, and I don't just mean for poolside snacks. The main dining room is called 47 Degrees and serves a nice mixture of ever-present favourites and a good selection of meals that were different every day. We loved every meal that we had in here. Above 47 Degrees is a gallery restaurant looking down on the diners below and split into 2 halves, and each serving a completely different menu. On one side is Gallery 47, which is a delicious upscale Italian restaurant serving a gorgeous selection of dishes that we absolutely loved. The menu in here changes halfway through the week, so it's definitely worth coming here at least twice, and the desserts were sensational too. On the opposite side is Piccadilly's British restaurant. Here the menu also changes halfway through the week, and they serve really lovely British food like you get in a lovely country gastropub. If you dare, you should tackle the massive Arthur Duke Pastry Duo Sharer, which is still huge even when you remember it's for 2 people, but there's loads of choice in there and plenty of vegetarian options too. Up on deck 9 is the Glass House, which has an indoor pool and some hot tubs. Here they have a servery where you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner and late night snacks until 1 AM. This is a much less formal place to eat than the restaurants downstairs, and they serve sandwiches and bowls, pizza and pasta, salad and paninis, rotisserie chicken, French fries, corn on the cob and desserts. We enjoyed what we had here, and there's a very relaxed atmosphere by the pool, but still people dress smartly in the evenings. It's definitely worth a try during your cruise. The Snack Shack is a grab and go style venue close to the main swimming pool, and here you can grab yourself sandwiches, salads, burgers and fries, mac and cheese, fruit and desserts, and there's still no extra charge for any of this. And then of course there's Islands Buffet, where there's a huge choice of food available right throughout the day, and soft serve ice cream is there in the afternoons, as well as standard hot drinks. All of these restaurants and places to eat are included in your fare, and that's much better than some cruise lines. On our cruise with MSC, for example, we could only eat in one main dining room or the buffet unless we paid extra, so having all this extra choice with Marella felt really good. If you're looking for a bit of retail therapy to fill in those days at sea, there are loads of shops on board selling all the usual selection of watches, handbags, clothing, sunglasses, souvenirs and duty free. The prices on board cruise ships can be a bit steep at these kinds of places, but actually I didn't think the prices were too bad on our Marella cruise, and there are regular sales, offers and discounts, the details of which are listed in your cruise news leaflet, which you get on board every day. If you like your pamper treatments, Ocean Spa was also reasonably priced compared with some other cruise lines. You could buy a day pass for only £29 when we went. Obviously prices change over time, but check out the spa if you're interested and you might be pleasantly surprised. And the gym is free to use and was well equipped, has great views out to sea, and there was always availability when we went. And we also thought that the excursions we went on our days ashore were reasonably priced. And as Marella is part of the TUI group, they were all organised by TUI, which all felt very easy. And you can also feel confident that they're going to get you back to the ship on time at the end. One of the things we liked the most about our Marella cruise though was that the drinks were all included in the price. The drinks on cruise holidays are all part of the fun, but the prices are often quite high compared to the prices in your local pub back home. This can lead to a nasty surprise at the end of your holiday when you receive your final account. Other cruise lines will sell you a drinks package, but these add many hundreds of pounds to the cost of your holiday. Now, of course, the cost of your drinks have been factored into your fare, but at least you know what that is up front, so the price you see is the price you pay, with no nasty shocks on the final day. Crew gratuities or tips are also included, which also helps you to know your holiday costs before you leave home. On our recent cruise with Princess Cruises, between $17 and $19 per day was added to our account for tips, depending on your cabin class, and then 18% was added to the cost of every drink, which felt like we were tipping not once but twice. At least with Marella, you know where you stand regarding the drinks and tips from the start, and that was a feeling we really liked. They're not tight with the included drinks either, with a table full of drinks laid out by the pool and at the entrance to the theatre, and red, white and rosé wine and Foster's Lager on tap for you to help yourself to at any time in the buffet after 10 AM. You don't want lager for breakfast. So those are 5 things that made us happy on our Marella cruise, but what was the one thing that seemed a bit sad? Well, I'll tell you next. Before I do, can I quickly ask you to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, it simply means you'll get notified when I post another video, and it really makes me happy to see so many of you subscribing now. Thank you to those that have, and to the rest of you, please subscribe. Now, cruise ship entertainment comes in many different forms, but on our Marella cruise there was a large theatre called the Broadway Show Lounge. In these theatres there's usually a mix of singing and dancing shows, comedy, magic, drag acts and so on. The show cast consisted of about a dozen highly talented and enthusiastic performers who put on a different show night after night. In fact, they performed it twice most nights. We saw the same few performers so many times that I started to feel a bit sorry for them. It almost started to feel like a hostage situation. And then, when there was a pool party on the top deck, who would be up there getting everyone dancing but the showcast again? There was only one other performer in the theatre during the entire cruise, a comedian, and I wish there'd been a bit more variety in the theatre shows so these poor people could have had some time off and rested their poor legs and voices. So, have you been on a Marella cruise, and was there anything about it that annoyed you, or did you think it was perfect? Leave me a comment and let me know, and until next time, thanks for watching.